We don't talk every day, but Billy and I have the kind of relationship where we won't talk for a year and a half, 2 years, and then it's like we never missed a beat.
Rewind, recap, relive. For over 50 episodes, the revolutionary force in wrestling interview.
Chuck, a point in your career when it was all about like the entertainment, and what people probably know you best for was the Billy and Chuck angle. And I'd love to get into that. First, ask, like, how was it transitioning your career from more of like a serious, heavy for FBI or like big guy in WCW to like something more entertaining like that?
Honestly, it was actually easy.
It was easy.
Well, once they give you a character, you just play it to the best of your ability. So I knew what they wanted, and I just took it and ran with it, So there was no like trying to figure out who I am, and this is the character that Vince was looking for. Take it and make it your own. So that's how that works. It was actually easy. If anybody ever goes back and watches any of those tag matches with Billy and I, we didn't do much. We really didn't do much. It was all entertainment and playing grab ass and innuendos and all that stuff. You know what I mean? That's what it really came down to. At the time, I've spoke with people about this before. At the time, it was cutting edge, right? Now, when we talk about same-sex marriage and gender-related topics, it's pretty, it's mainstream now, especially with social media and everything else. And but back then, it wasn't, right? So timing was right, obviously. And it was easy. We had fun doing it. We really did. We laughed about it. We would just laugh about it before we went to the ring, actually in the ring, and then back in the locker room after. We really had a lot of fun with it. And I learned a lot from Billy at the time. I learned a lot. So yeah, it was cool. Would it have been something that I would have chosen to do just out of the blue? No. But what we find out, right, just, not only in wrestling, but in life also, is when you're faced with something that's not in your wheelhouse, when you step out of the box to do something, usually you grow from it, and usually it turns out well. So yeah, it was a great time for me, great growing experience. Learned a lot, made some good money, and yeah, it was fun. It was fun.
And that's what's important too. It's cool that you went from answering an ad to make some money to doing an angle that you're saying is, that was really fun in the end.
What?
Are you still friends with Billy Gunn?
Absolutely.
Cool.
I spoke with him. He called me not too long ago, but he wanted me to come in and work with him recently. And I don't want to wrestle anymore. I appreciated the offer. It was, I guess he had there was some angle they were doing, something about a birthday. I guess he's managing some guys over there. I don't watch wrestling.
His sons. Yeah, no, he's managing his well, no, he's managing.
He's with the Acclaim now.
Acclaimed, yeah, but his sons are there too. So it's those.
Yeah. We don't talk every day, but Billy and I have the kind of relationship where we won't talk for a year and a half, 2 years, and then it's like we never missed a beat. You know what I mean? So,
really cool.
Yeah. I can't believe he's still doing it. He's like,
looks great. Yeah.
He's durable. I mean, because he's going to be coming in on 60, right?
Yeah. At this point, yeah. And now he's getting in there with his sons and everything too. It's so cool to see the full circle. I
haven't seen his sons. Since they were kids, but they were good kids. I'm sure they're doing great, right?
Yeah. They are. They're definitely excelling. And it's cool. AEW in general, it's just a great like breeding ground for like new stars that, wouldn't always get the opportunity maybe. For Chuck, one more thing about that angle, the theme song. Do you remember the theme song?
Yeah, You Look So Good to Me.
Yeah. Do you remember how that theme song came about? Because they've used it like past that too. And also your personal opinion, did you like that theme song?
It's so funny because when I first heard it, I was going, what? Oh my, it was so over the top, it was so flamboyant, but it worked. It was perfect. That's why, that's why those people who, put those songs together, that's why they get paid to do what they do. It worked. And I just found it entertaining. Like I said at the beginning, I was kind of shy. I was like, oh man, this is, but then after a few times down to the ring, it was cool. We had fun with it. At one point, I remember I'd be hopping around on one foot and doing all the, but it just worked, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was good with it. I don't know who. I think at the time, I can't remember the gentleman's name. There was a guy who worked for WWF, WWE. He did all the music.
Was
Tim
it
Johnson?
Jim Johnston?
Jim Johnston, yeah.
Jim Johnson. I think he put it together. But yeah, it worked.
It worked. Yeah, it's definitely memorable. Nick, did you watch that?
Oh my God, yeah. It's funny that he mentions all that. 'Cause I remember playing SmackDown Shut Your Mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And they would come out and I would just get so irritated because for some reason at least Billy was really hard to beat. And actually Chuck and SmackDown, the first SmackDown versus Raw was hard to beat. But yeah, I remember that's about the time I started watching wrestling. And being a kid, I thought it was funny. I thought it was great. You know, I didn't know what same-sex marriage or relationship. I was 12, 13 years old. You know, I just thought it was funny. But yeah, it's just so crazy just thinking about that time of wrestling and how different it was and how captivating it was. Because to be honest, you know, there's hundreds of tag teams, you know, and there's only a handful that you really remember. And Billy and Chuck to this day is one of them. You know, it's one of those tag teams that they were so charismatic that 20 years later, I remember him skipping around on one foot and the dancing that they would do on the way to the ring. Like, I remember all of that. And that was 20 years ago. And then you have teams from 5 years ago. It's like, oh, I forgot they were a team. You know, it's one of those things where the entertainment value that you can bring, you don't need the moves. You just need something that stands out. You just need something that will captivate an audience. And you'll be remembered forever.
Rewind, recap, relive. For over 50 episodes, the revolutionary force in wrestling interviews.